Phosphor.friends, Earl at thelogbook.com, back with Phoenix for the Atari 2600. Yes, actually a box with styrofoam in it. But I am actually going to be playing a game for you, so don't worry about the styrofoam. Just enjoy the show. Phoenix was an arcade game released in 1980 and promptly brought to the US by both Taito and Century. And it was something of a sleeper hit. I know there was a Phoenix machine at the entrance to the Kroger grocery store on North O in Fort Smith that I used to frequent with great regularity. And the Atari game really gets a lot of the details right, including the part where I explode at the earliest opportunity, because someone has managed to shoot me. That happens often in this game. By pulling down on the joystick, you activate your shield, which behaves much as it does in the arcade game. However, you're kind of immobile for that moment. You're safe, but immobile, and you don't really have any control over when the shield is going to wear off. So it's your lack of mobility plus your vulnerability. Well, that's one way to take it out. It's just collide with the thing. You know, those two factors may come back to haunt you in very short order. The Phoenix was one of many games to be packed with an Atari Force comic book, and I absolutely do not remember any details whatsoever of the aforementioned comic book, so what was in it, how it related to the Atari Force plotline, I can't even begin to tell you. Okay, so now we're up to the mothership level, which is way easier in this format than it is in the arcade, because you don't have the entire flotilla of alien birds there to take you out. You can sit over here at the edge and safely pick off the the rotating ring, and there. I wasn't able to do that when I was demoing the arcade game a while back, but I can do it in the Atari version fairly reliably. Now, interestingly, the Atari having the license for Phoenix, a home port of Phoenix, caused a legal entanglement with Imagic, which you have to figure that Atari's lawyers were just spoiling for that fight, no matter what. Imagic produced a game called Demon Attack for the Atari 2600, as well as the Intellivision. I know there was a TI version called Super Demon Attack. Maybe I'll get to play that one sometime, because it's quite colorful. The graphics are, much better on that platform than I remember them being on nearly any other platform that the game appeared on. Demon Attack was very similar to Phoenix in that it had kind of the swooping kamikaze aliens coming at you, as well as a mothership element. And I believe the only way that the only defense that Imagic had really was that they did not include the mothership level on the Atari 2600 version. It was just wave after wave of the descending birds. Whistling birds. So, they tried to... It was pretty sad when you have to differentiate your game by leaving one of the most heavily advertised chunks of it out, because the screenshots that were published. This was before the internet. Um, screenshots that were published so often in magazines like Electronic Games um, frequently showed the Intellivision version of Demon Attack, complete with the really impressive giant mothership, really impressive on that platform or any other console. It was definitely something the 2600 would not be able to pull off. And, it was a mothership with a giant demonic face because, hey, Demon Attack. But that level, that heavily advertised level, as seen in the screenshots for the Intellivision port, had to be left off the 2600 version because Atari was leaning heavily on the presence of a mothership level as an indication that Demon Attack was a wholesale ripoff of Phoenix, which, I don't know, I guess I can kind of see their point. Was Demon Attack a better game than Phoenix on the 2600? It was a different game than Phoenix, especially once you had to take into the account that you were never going to see a mothership level, that you were just going to have things shooting at you for the whole game, and it was going to get harder, and eventually you were going to explode and die. I mean, your ship was eventually going to explode and die, not you as a player. I don't think that ever happened, to the best of my knowledge. Oh, that was very close. That's a case where using your shields, if you're in a corner, probably not the best idea. Of course, getting shot like that, also not the best idea. Okay, I survived a level. Didn't really score very highly, but... Alright. As far as how accurate Phoenix is to the arcade version, if you can forgive, some minor graphic differences, it's a very faithful port to the arcade version. The the birds on this level, really, this is the level that would have cost them the most, I think, if they had if they'd really screwed it up. This level, obviously lost a lot in translation because you could either have the mothership descending or you could have the attacking birds, but you could not have both. Sort of like I can't have nice things and blow up the mothership twice in one video, no matter how nice that would be. So there you have it, Atari's Phoenix from 1982. A nice arcade port, really well done, and kind of part of a sort of a renaissance for the 2600 that was happening around that time in terms of them actually, finally getting consistently good arcade ports out of the machine. And, and fewer games that were DOA along the lines of, how a lot of people regarded Pac-Man. Thanks for watching.